In this seminar, we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about a spinnerbait, which is another great bait that elicits a reaction strike. And you're going to hear me continually talk about that because I love baits that can trigger bites too when they're not feeding. And so we're going to keep on talking about it. Show of hands, and everybody's going to raise their hand, I'm sure. How many people have fished a spinnerbait? Raise their hand. Everybody. Awesome. Me too. And this thing, man, it's an old lure. It's an old lure. In this presentation, this is the biggest thing that I want to talk about besides the movements of these baits, the retrieves. I want to talk about picking the right spinnerbait. Because here's the deal. Most people, when they see a spinnerbait, they lump it into one giant category, right? That's just the spinnerbait. Cool. I've got a skirted jig in my box, and I've got a shaky worm, and I've got a spinnerbait, and I'm good to go. I own a spinnerbait. But there's a perfect spinnerbait for every condition. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about picking the right spinnerbait, right? No different than picking the right tool, right? If you're a carpenter. Colors. So blades and style of the spinnerbait, 1 and 2. Next one's colors. We'll talk about that, but in general, just like with the power jig head techniques, the number one thing I want to think about is matching the hatch, imitating forage. Here it goes. This is my number one way to fish it. How many people fish a jerkbait? Raise their hand. Suspended jerkbait, float jerkbait. It's almost the exact same technique with the spinnerbait. And the beauty is that, man, when you fish a spinnerbait like this, it keeps that bait changing direction the entire retrieve back. The whole retrieve, the whole length of your cast. That thing is just flashing and moving and vibrating. It's unbelievable. It's great when there's nothing to deflect into. You know, if you got stumps and stuff, right? It's easy to make that bait change direction. But when you've got open water and there's nothing to hit, you know, this jerking deal we're going to talk about is a great way to just constantly make it change direction, okay? It really is, it's the number one way I fish it. It's a great way to make it look real. And here it goes. This is my retrieve when I'm jerking a spinnerbait. Is I'm going to cast it out there. I'm going to let it sink to the zone of the fish. And I'm going to hit it just like a jerkbait the whole way back. I'm going to keep just jerking it. A couple little pauses. Keep jerking it just like a jerkbait. And every time you hit that, every time you jerk it, it's gone off track and wanting to recenter, gone off track and wanting to recenter. The blades are hitting each other. They're spinning different. They're vibrating. You know, there's kind of a illustration of what that looks like. You're around that cover, open water, doesn't matter. You're jerking it, and it's bouncing the whole way back. Number one way I fish a spinnerbait. But before we do that, if you remember anything about this entire seminar, it's going to be this one right here.
I hope you enjoyed the preview clip, and for more like that and the entire collection, subscribe to the Bass University TV. And if you want the tackle that you see on there, I want you to go to the Bass University Tackle Shop, powered by Tackle Warehouse, and click right here, and it's all at your fingertips.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.